Hello, this is Pigsy doing a video. Quite hot today. So, a bit of MGTOW stuff. That's an airing. And I think really it's living in the bear market. Because a bit of that's going on. And it's also the choices other people make. So if women are looking for high caliber men and it's the bear market, you might want to assess maybe the length of time in a relationship and careers might be that could survive recessions and pullbacks. You know, some areas, a bit like we had the COVID, like retail and so on, people could lose their jobs. So, you know, it's all well you could get a boyfriend or partner or whatever in a certain area. And so I don't know the impact if women date women, what they would suffer. Do they suffer a similar sort of thing? I mean, it's not necessarily hypergamy, but they might be. They might want successful lesbians. I don't know. It could be. It's a bit more complicated because they'd be both battling each other to a certain degree. It could be that there's somebody wants to play the alpha. Or maybe it's more based on a kind of like sub-dom, because some people are more capable of taking the lead. It's not whether they're a leader or not, or, you know, sometimes people get caught up with all that. And also, it's difficult with some people who are not honest with themselves, which we all lie to ourselves about things, but some people do more than others. A bit like I had a woman at work, so it was another carer and she seemed to be a bit sort of snappy over policies or something. But it wasn't, she doesn't even work for the same company and, you know, all these sorts of stuff. And I'm trying to sort of digest that or take it in my brain to make sense of why. And I mean, maybe she secretly likes me, which probably sounds like a bit of a narcissistic thing. But a kind of her background is that she can't have children because her partner had testicular cancer. She is married. She has cats as like substitute children. I mean, there's things that could be jealous about. Like, I've got kids. I mean, I might not see them, but they're alive and they're happy. I mean, they're looking towards, well, one of them's looking towards a career, I guess. The other one probably will do. He just needs to figure out what he wants. That's clear, you're clear, yo. So the other thing is important is investing in yourself. That's really one of the key things. And because there's some of that you can do for free. It's not going to cost you anything. Like YouTube. I've got things where I can learn different languages. Maybe I should start getting on doing that. So that'll be towards my goals. I've got to do some learning stuff at work I've got to finish. And then try not to spend too much money on things I don't need. I've got some stuff to plan. I've got a stag night for somebody to plan or look at. So I've got a budget for that as well. I don't want to blow loads of money this time of month, but if everything's a bear market, there's no real point in, you know, basically the idea is that let the crypto take care of crypto is better. So if something's paying out interest, it'd be best to just keep it within the crypto because everything's gone down about the same amount. When you take it out, then you're going to be, because it's like one market compared to the other, it's the fiat versus the crypto. So if the fiat is, well, that's going to be down as well, but it's going to be down in a different way. You'll just be paying more for things, and if you do get discounts, you do get a discount on something, it's because the price went up. So you'll get swings and roundabouts, or both. Is that they claim you got 20% off, and it's gone up, and you've made a little bit of saving. But when that deal goes, they would have sneaked in the rise of it. So it's a difficult situations. So with also crypto, I'm just switching it into what are called stable coins. So I've got one I'm putting into USDC. I was looking at buying something, but it doesn't really pay out a lot at its current state. It's helpful for my project, but it's not necessarily helpful in this bear market necessarily. I'm going to make a lot of money and take it off the exchange. I think if it flips the other way around, then take profits, but otherwise what you're doing is building yield. So you're putting into things that are building more of something, and then you want to keep it in places where it's not going to fold, because there's always that issue in the market of projects that might no longer exist, or there's not much money in them, which is a pain. That's nice. Some of these larger vehicles take these big sort of wide swerves around, so he didn't really show where he was going until the last minute. Yeah, so sustaining, maintaining, these are the kind of thinking, utilising what you got, looking at where things are going to go, and so I guess really for women, I think probably 30 you should be looking to settle down, because you don't want to be waiting until you're 36 and then desperate for a guy and want to have children, because it's only going to be a temporary thing. Not unless you're planning to live off child support and stuff and get what you want, but it's I don't know. And possibly, if you want to be happy, is not have too many children. If you can work and if you've got a career and you've got other stuff. I mean, sure, people will pay child support, but children bring a lot of drama to the table as well, and it can be quite stressful. And if maybe your choices are that this partner may not be there forever, it'd be involved in your life, but it'd be sort of in the background a little bit, then it might be not the best thing. And I mean, people feel that there's always options, but sustainability, I mean, if you think short term versus long term, so some of women's goals may be short term, some of men's goals should be long term, really, because they're looking to build wealth, stability, property, house, whatever, they got these roadmap, because networks are kind of short term, sometimes they can be long term relationship, partnerships. But if they're just like social interactions, you're kind of looking through them, and the good ones you're holding on to. So maybe it's a mindset. And the other thing could be a problem in modern society is trauma. If people like trauma, they act very primitive, and so they might mix around, they might chase high caliber men for survival and things like that, because they're being kind of led by an emotional impulse in a stressful environment. It's difficult. I mean, it's just how people are driven, really. I think men go through different phases. Like, it's not such a big worry now, because I mean, I've already had 2 children. I had to pay for it for ages, and I think, well, I won't go that route again, because that was an expensive deal. I did see something where somebody had to pay. They had him under, because the courts make money out of people. They had to have about 50% of his salary. I think it was like in the States. But I can see why this guy wouldn't want to work as much, and he'd have a lot of problems, and he wouldn't have any stability, and he wouldn't have any property, because he was just getting all this money ripped out of him. I think that's just not a good system. And I was watching, it was Kevin Samuel who said, well, why don't you just do split the custody, do 50-50, because you complain about his involvement, I think because he's in pain, bitter, suffering, you know, he's probably made choices, and she's annoyed that he's basically got a different type of job, lower income, but he's still paying out loads, and she thinks he's done it deliberately. Well, maybe he wasn't very well and he was sick to his stomach by all of his money coming out of his pocket and having little access to his children or influence, or maybe he had to deal with the toxic side of stuff the children were subjected to, so it's kind of like he had to deal with that, like your mum says this, mum says that about you or sort of, you know. So I don't know, it's difficult. Anyway, running back to our kind of bear. So yeah, just making different decisions. It could run for a year or two, so you know it's not a short-term thing. It's long-term strategy and planning. I mean, certain savings. I mean, with crypto, you're looking at good interest yields, but you're also aware that the market will go down. So you might have more of something that's worth less, and then when it returns back to its normal level, then it's going to work two ways. It's going to be mass investment because it's going back up and think, oh, I'm going to get into a bargain. Or people selling out loads because they've been waiting to take profits and they haven't. And this goes not just in crypto, stocks, other stuff, if it's all a bit down. You know, this war stuff isn't helping, or conflict, or however they want to put it, and you know, it's probably stuff in China going on, there's stuff with COVID going on. And you can offset debt, but debt will catch up with you. And that's what's going to happen with Putin. I mean, his health's not wonderful, so they say. And even if it was okay, you know, maybe in 10 years' time he's gone, and it's going to be the Russian people that will pick up the ball. And the problem is, all these sanctions have been put in place, so the money's never going to go back to Russia. So it's stuck in limbo. So it's just going to leave Russia with a debt, both emotionally and psychologically. And a lot of the people are not aware of it. But that's how politics works. Anyway, let's pick someone off. Have a great one. Speak to you soon. Bye.